welcome to the second series of Chat OMP, where I, William Peake, the Global Managing Partner of Harney's, speak to our various managing partners around the region. Now, I have the viewing figures from last year's series, and I know that Lishi was very much top of the tree on the listening figures. So Lishi, you've got a big act to follow. It's really nice to have you on again, Lishi.
Thanks, Will. Glad to be on again. Time flies. It's been a year.
Yeah, no, it has been. It's been one hell of a year. And I think this time, rather than having scripted questions, I thought we would actually be a little bit more free flow. Now, I can see your video face and you're looking quite shocked, Lishi, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Trust me. What I think is really interesting for the listenership is about how did you end up in a career in law? Because you're obviously, an incredibly bright, charismatic individual. So you can then go into whatever you want to go into. So why did you choose law?
I think this is a question similar background to a lot of Asian lawyers I know. I mean, I grew up in Singapore. I'm Singaporean with Asian parents during my time. There's no influencer job. You basically either become a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant. There's not much choice. Not good with the whole science and math thing. So I thought, law school is all right. I actually did apply for business school and I got into the UC Berkeley. And then I applied for law school in the UK as well. When I got the results, went to my parents and said, look, would you like to sponsor me to go abroad? And Dad basically said, I don't think you should go to the US. I think you'll party too much. Law school is what I'll accept. So before you know it, I was off to London, law school, decided not ready to come back after 3 years, applied for a training contract. And then, it's been 20 years. Realized I've got no other skill sets during COVID. Can't bake, can't do yoga, can't teach Pilates. Still a lawyer.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fantastic that you didn't work out how to make banana bread and sourdough. But it was interesting, actually, at the 10-year party last year, chatting to all your kind of law school friends who had basically made exactly the same journey as you. They'd gone from Singapore to London, stayed in London for a good stint of time, and then came back to Singapore.
Exactly. It was a great experience for us. I mean, I grew up in quite a sheltered family where, it's really school and home. We don't really get to travel and see much of the world. So to be able to live abroad, I think that's quite liberating for me. And then to work in London, train there, do the deals there, I think that has added to my experience and, how I deal with some clients here.
I always think in Ireland, when somebody returns from London, there's a cachet to it in terms of, they're London trained or they've worked in one of the big city firms. Is that the same in Singapore, that people recognize that you learned in London?
I think there's a bit of that. I mean, you can sell the whole, I've worked abroad, I do cross-border deals, I've experience on the big ticket, left-in, groundbreaking, cutting-edge deals. I think they value that. That being said, the kind of deals that Singapore law firms do now are also international cross-border deals. Of course. So it's really more of the experience of living abroad and, working with people from different countries more than the deal experience. But definitely grew up as a person, learn how to cook, do my own laundry, legal skills maybe about the same.
Yeah, because you are, we'll come on to this, because you are a bit of a chameleon in terms of you're very good at changing gears in terms of the audience that you're speaking to, and you're brilliant at managing up and you're brilliant at managing down. And do you think actually your experience in London kind of helped you there because you were exposed to so many different parts of the world?
I mean, that's an interesting question. I think thinking of it now, the answer would be yes, because in London, we had different groups of friends. So I had the Singaporeans that I went to law school with. When I did my training contract, they were, the expats. And I had to adapt in a way to their lifestyle, their way of life.
Yeah.
Picked up drinking because, going to the pub was the thing.
Yeah.
So in a way, you learn to be adaptable. You learn to adapt to the people around you just so that you can fit in and find your group. And I think it definitely helped with the role here and the clients here as well.
Yeah, maybe adaptable is a much less sinister way of saying that you're like a talented Mrs. Fong and you're changing yourself for wherever you're from. And I suppose just, because I think that adaptability is one of the absolute key skills of being a managing partner. And, I work with you a lot and I get to spend time with you and see just how detailed you are in terms of the job and how you are all over the absolute details. And I suppose, people think being a managing partner is an incredibly glamorous job and that you've a lot of people doing work for you. And I think both of us recognize that's not the reality on the ground. What does a typical day look like for you in terms of when you start checking your emails, when you stop, all of that kind of stuff?
Wow, this is going to be Instagram versus reality moment.
Yeah, I like it.
The managing partner title is great. I think people go, wow, that's amazing. The reality is a bit real, to be honest. In any typical day, I am very much like every other lawyer. You come in, you check your emails and deal with problems. The thing about being a managing partner, and that's what I've had to learn to do, is you need to be approachable so that people can come to you with feedback, come to you with issues, but you're not their best friend. You need to be able to draw the line such that they still respect you as the partner and they're still willing to, follow your lead, contribute and all. So that's a fine line. Some people become too friendly and then, it's hard to give feedback. Some people become too much of a boss and then people fear them. So for me, it's balancing that. As the managing partner, you have to deal with everything. Everything and anything is your problem to, what food shall we order for the pantry? What Christmas tree color should we get for this year? I mean, I've got all sorts of funny story being a managing partner. And if you really talk about the real stuff, it could be, there was one year, Christmas is a huge thing for us in Singapore. There are,
of course.
What a lawyer who shall not be named feels very strongly about our Christmas tree. So every year we make an effort to make sure that the Christmas tree is amazing. One year, I got a text on a Sunday afternoon from a secretary who's offered to come into the office to set up our tree for the Monday to say, OMG, this is a picture of the tree that just got delivered.
And your name's OMP. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. And I saw the picture and I was like, yeah, this is not going to fly. I remember I was at swim class with my kids and I told the boys, I was like, guys, no swimming, no playing water after this. We've got to go buy a Christmas tree. We drove all the way to one of those wholesalers in Singapore, bought the largest Christmas tree with all the decorations.
Yeah.
Tried to fit it into the car, but it was so big, it couldn't fit. I had to take out all the kids' car seat. The kids were like squatting on the floor and I managed to drive it safely home. And the kids were like, oh, are we going to set up a tree? I went, guys, this is not for you. This is for the office.
Yeah, sorry.
And it's really, times like that I realized that, you've just got to do it all, right? Because the tree needs to be nice. So I decided to go out and buy the tree. We got the decorations. Everything was set up. And until today, it's a funny story because the tree that was delivered was a pink tree. And it looked nothing like what we ordered online. So in a way that, people think managing partner means you close the big deals, you attend all the nice functions, but behind the scenes, you do a lot of the nitty-gritty as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm just imagining your poor children in their little swimming caps and water wings thinking, well, at least we're getting a decent tree. And then mum's like, actually, not so much.
Oh, they were not impressed. They're like, Mama, what do you mean this is not for the house? I went, no, this is for the office. They're like, where is our tree? I went, the smaller one.
Guess what? We've got a pink tree now. So we're going to do a little bit of swapping out. No, but it is so true. And I think it's really important that people recognize the real magic happens in recognizing that you need to be likable and approachable, but you cannot crave being liked. And I think there's a huge distinction there because I often think about, because I've got this wrong before, whereby I've moved into it essentially like a friend zone with somebody. And then you try to give them feedback and they're like, well, where's this coming from? We're friends. What, really? It's so difficult to get that right. And what are your big hopes for 2025?
We grew the team quite a bit last year. So this year it's really about, getting our name out. We've got good clients. We've got a good team. It's really being the go-to firm. I'm very fortunate in Singapore. Everyone feels very strongly about the business. They come to me with good ideas.
Yeah, they really
I think everyone feels a bit like an entrepreneur here. And I get very interesting ideas from the associates, from support to say how best you can market it. And I think it's nice to see everyone going out and doing their part. So I think this year will really be a year where we're going to go out to the market and say, this is what we can do. This is what you can offer and just increase our market share. As always,
Brilliant.
Bill.
Yeah.
And collect.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Going from the really thoughtful management piece to finishing with Bill. I like it. It's great. But look, look, Lishi, thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoy these conversations, and there are proper insights there for junior lawyers, for mid-level lawyers, for managing partners in other offices who will all recognise, the good things and the bad things about the role. So thank you very much.